Hello, hello. This is Chad from SoundFlow, and this is a little update from a question that I answered last week regarding setting some text field values for the strength parameter of the quantize window and Pro Tools. It's part of the event operations window, but yeah. So what we went through last time was we can use the gear icon and the macro editor to set some advanced properties which allows us to use mouse and keyboard simulation to kind of force Pro Tools to accept our input of the value that we're trying to add to this text field here. So Juan responded, said that it's working great. He had a question about being able to set a variable to run the macro, get a prompt, and then have it open run and close the window for the event operations without setting it, because I'm assuming he just uses command 0 or another workflow for setting the actual quantization after he set the strength. So yeah, let's walk through. This gives us another chance to kind of show off some more advanced macro editing capabilities, and it's kind of a perfect little example here. So let's first start off. We will just set the text field area. I'm just going to set this up how we had it last time. So we use the pick button here, hop over to Pro Tools. I'm holding Command. Oh, I don't actually need to do that. But yeah, I've selected the second text field. Holding Command will bypass exiting click mode temporarily. That's another trick for another day. But yeah, so I was using the path selector here to just select the fourth text field, and we were setting it to a different value. So just as a reminder, this is kind of how this was working. Let me do this. And oh yeah, crucial part that we learned last time, use mouse and keyboard simulation. So cool. That is setting that. Great. We'll set it back to 100 and let's see here. There we go. So he wants this window to open and close and also be prompted for a setting to set there. So let's get into that. So if we do add action now, we'll do pop-up text like this. This is like the simplest way to get user input. So this will just be a prompt for some amount of text. In this instance, we want it to be a number. SoundFlow doesn't care if it's a number or if it's text, but yeah. So I will go ahead and just say, what do you want the strength to be? And yeah, let's see here. Yeah, that's all we need to set for this guy. So yeah, when I run this macro, it's asking me what the strength I want it to be. So if I said 80 here, that would complete the macro. So you might be asking, like, how does this help us? So what we can do is actually, let's get that window back open. We can use what's called a return value. So the return value is going to be this yellow variable here. So it's easy to miss, but some macro actions will have this return value down here. So we can actually take this text here and drag it. So you can see I'm like dragging that yellow variable around. So I just click on it and drag it, and we can drop it onto the value parameter here. So what this allows us to do is now do Control X to run this. We're going to do 80. And you can see it set the strength parameter to 80 by taking the prompt and using that value. So if I do this again and I do 75, it's going to set to 75. So that's great. That is the crux of what Juan is after, I believe. The only other steps then are going to be opening and closing this window, which we can just do really quick. So if we do click menu item like this, we're going to say Pro Tools, and yeah, so we want, what do we want? We want the event operations window. So I'm not going to get into checking whether this already is on the screen, but I think that will be okay regardless. So yeah, we need to give it the menu path first. So we're going to go event and then event operations. And then in this instance, I'm actually going to do quantize. So if I do event operations like that, and then quantize with the 3 periods there. I'm assuming it's the 3 periods. We can just test this macro. Yep. Okay, so that's opening up great. So I'm just using this toggle switch to enable and disable individual macro actions as a way to kind of like, just test the one that I was worried about there. So I'll turn these. Well, yeah, we'll keep this one off for the moment, just so we can test opening and waiting for that and all that. So then I want to actually wait for this UI element. This is just like a dummy check for SoundFlow to be like, this window does exist. So we'll run this and it's going to fail because we need to pick and then select this window here. So, okay. So yeah, this is also kind of an interesting thing where you'll notice that there's actually not a name for this. So this might be fine, but I'm actually going to change what I'm picking as a result of this. So I'm going to wait for this text field to exist. So again, I want to use the most generic form of that text field. And this should be fine. So let's see here. Actually, what I want to do, just to be double sure, maybe we'll pick and we'll wait for this text. So we're going to wait for this checkbox to be on the screen. It's not going to actually check the checkbox, but it will at least, make sure that that is on the screen. So yeah, instead of waiting for this window, because this window didn't have a name, we're waiting for the checkbox strength to show up because that'll indicate that we're in the right spot. Okay, so from there, all we got to do is leave these back on. And then I think if we'll do a click UI element, like that, and okay. Well, wasn't wanting to. I wonder if let's see here. I want to get to this close button. So yeah, when I switch over to Pro Tools, it allows me to select the actual close button. So we're actually just going to do that. So we're just going to close the first window here, and then we'll wait for this to disappear. So another action that's fun to have is duplicate action. So this we can just duplicate down here. And now we can just wait for this checkbox to disappear instead of appear. So the flow of events here is we're going to get asked for a strength value. We're clicking the menu item event operations quantize. We're going to wait for this checkbox to appear so that we know that we're in the right window. And then we're going to use the return value here as the value for our text field here. And then we're going to close this window and wait for it to go away. And then we know that it's done its thing. So let's see here. I just want to check if I do that. Okay, so there is if you start with this event operations window open, this will currently not work. There are ways around that, but for now we're going to start from just, nothing is open. And we'll run this macro. So let's do, I want it to be 60. And it did not work. What do we do in here? I think we need an app activate. That might be the key here. So throw this at the top of here. Yeah, so if we do run here, 65, it's setting it to 65. I'll do it again just real quick. So 50. And then you can see here that it's been set to 50 if I open up that window again. And yeah, I could go and run this all day. I could do, 90 is probably a more accurate thing to set it to. Whereas like 100, would be full strength. We're going to stop that. So anyway, that is the flow of how you would get through this question. So again, we want to use the return value from this text pop-up and this other step down here as the value. So I hope that makes sense. Hopefully it also reinforces some of the more advanced macro editing capabilities in SoundFlow. And that will be all today. Cool. See y'all.